Happy Friday. I hope all is well. Welcome to a week in review of this week's political headlines. If you would like to follow, it's Instagram or Twitter at the same name. I am Shantizi. Or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's all free of charge. So I'm going to be quick. Hello everyone that came on. And I have a list of things that I'm going to talk about. And the first is I always open with COVID because we're still in the midst of this pandemic. People think we're not in the midst of a pandemic. You thought wrong. We are in the midst of a global pandemic still. We are about 20 months in. It'll be 24 months next March. But we are 20 months into this, about 20 months in as of next week to this global pandemic. So I would like to start off with some numbers from the Johns Hopkins University and Medicine website. So according to the Johns Hopkins University and Medicine website, we are at global confirmed cases 240,046,432 cases of COVID-19 around the world. I think there's over 190 countries that have COVID. The global death toll is 4,889,103 cases of of death toll, global deaths from COVID-19. So the global death toll is 4.8 million. It's almost at 5 million. I won't be surprised if we reach 5 million by the first week of November or the second week. U.S. confirmed cases, 44,884,550 cases of COVID. So we have 44,884,550 cases of COVID, and the U.S. death toll is 723,747. So I'll repeat. Global confirmed cases, 240,046,432 cases of COVID. Global death toll is 4.8. U.S. confirmed cases, 44.8 cases, confirmed cases, and U.S. death toll, 723,747. So we're almost at 1 million people dying from this disease and people still being dumb. According to people that got vaccinated, administer vaccines, yesterday the number of it is 820,913 doses that were administered here in the U.S. So overall, 189.1 million people, that's 58% of the population, is vaccinated. The president thought we was going to get to 70% by 4th of July. This past 4th of July did not happen. And shit is looking crazy. And the FDA, I believe, according to a breaking news alert, somewhere near, the FDA authorizes Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine for emergency use for children 5 through 11. Good day, everyone that came in. So, FDA now authorizes children ages 5 through 11 to get the Pfizer vaccine. And we have about almost 45 million cases of COVID-19 here in the United States, and we only account for 20% of the world's population. We have the most death toll. We almost cracking 1 million. And people still opposing vaccines. Now, those who watch me, I live in New York City. And right now, as effective today, firefighters and NYPD officers that are not vaccinated will be losing their job because they had to be vaccinated by today. And half of those guys that oppose the vaccine, most of them are white men, and they refuse to get the vaccine, saying, you're infringing upon my rights. So they rather be furloughed, risk their whole job and their pension to not get vaccinated, which only takes 2 minutes. You sit there for 15 minutes to make sure you have no crazy outbreak or whatever. when their science already proves that the vaccine actually works. I took it. But, you still got people being dumb. And then this past Sunday, you have people protesting in front of Barclays Center wanting Kyrie Irving to play because he can't play until he's vaccinated. And losing out a whole season, a whole paycheck because he refused to get vaccinated and went on a whole rant on Instagram why he chose not to get vaccinated, saying he did his research. Yeah, okay. But I would like to address the anti-vaxxers. Once again, I do this every Friday. And I'm going to keep saying it again and again and again. And if you don't like it, you don't have to watch this video. So, those who are opposing to get vaccinated still, after having almost nearly 45 million confirmed cases, almost 1 million people dying from this disease and this nasty ass virus, and you still don't want to get vaccinated just to protect yourself from not getting hospitalized for COVID, right? Because it's 95% effective. You can still catch COVID, but however, you won't be hospitalized. You have some symptoms, some mild symptoms. But to the anti-vaxxers, to y'all, you keep messing around, not wearing a mask, not even getting vaccinated or getting tested, not doing none of the three, you will die. I repeat, if you refuse to get vaccinated, get tested, and still not wear your mask, and think we're not still in this pandemic, you will die. You will be on that ventilator, and there's a 10% chance that you survive that. Go ask Jeremiah. Because he thought his ass was dying last year. And those spreading misinformation about the vaccine, all you have to do is DM, what's her name? Dr. Kizzy, and she will teach you a thing or two, because I am so sick of this bullshit. I am so sick of delivering this message to anti-vaxxers. I'm actually getting fucking tired. But I know some people that refuse to get the vaccine and they want to be around other people, including me. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all not going to affect me. I have a pre-existing condition. I said this before. I have a pre-existing condition, and you will not affect me. And I still wear 2 masks. I still double mask. Even in the heat, I was still double masking. And I double mask because I don't want to get sick. As vaccinated I am, I don't want to get sick. And I don't play when it comes to my health. As my family has a long history of health issues, especially on my maternal side. So once again, you anti-vaxxers, you keep listening to holistic doctors, want to take black seed oil, taking herbs, not wearing your mask, refusing to get vaccinated, telling people they're part of the COVID cult, and just spreading misinformation about the vaccine, you will get sick and die. So please, for the love of God, stop spreading your misinformation to folks and stop trying to deter people from getting vaccinated. If you don't want to get vaccinated, that's your business. But don't try to discourage others. Because you keep doing that shit, you will catch karma. And karma is one hell of a BI. You know what it is. Now, on to the Build Back Better agenda. So this week, our news cycle has been crazy. Thanks to the mainstream media for being drama queens. So it only takes one Google search. I have my iPad right here to Google this Build Back Better agenda kind of thing. Because, Build Back. You know what? I think I got it on my Twitter, but I'm still going to look. Build Back Better framework. So it only takes a minute to go on the White House website. So I'm going to read what is in the damn framework. So the investments in children's families, caregiving, growth, the economy, and capacity. So let's read what is in this investment. So clean energy and tax credit is $320 billion. 10-year expanded tax credits for utility scale and residential clean energy transmission, storage, clean passage, and commercial vehicles and clean energy manufacturing. Resilience investments, 105 billion. Investments and incentives to address extreme weather, wildfires, droughts, hurricanes, including the forestries, wetlands, and agriculture, legacy pollution in communities, and a civilian climate corps. Investments and incentives for clean energy, technology, manufacturing, and supply chains, 110 billion. Targeting incentives to spur new domestic supply chains and technologies like solar, batteries, advanced materials, while boosting the competitiveness of investment industries like steel, cement, and aluminum. Clean energy procurement, 20 billion, provides incentives for government to purchaser or next gen technologies, including long duration storage, small molecular, whatever, clean constructed materials. And then affordable care for millions of hardworking Americans. Affordable Health Care Act, all that good stuff. And then bring it down to cost. Housing is 150 billion. Investments in housing of affordability and reducing price pressures, including in rural areas. Funds go towards building, preserving, and improving more than 1 million affordable rental and single family homes, including public housing plus rental and down payment assistance. All right, and they have all these other things. So I'm just going to read the amount of money that's invested because I know the details are a lot. They can be a lot. And I'm just going to find where, because I reposted on my Twitter as well of the framework of the Build Back Better agenda. So let's find where that part is. So just trying to find the amount of numbers so I can give you the figures in the Build Back Better agenda. And oh, I just had it on my thing. Okay, so I'm sorry. So the amount of money I said in clean energy is 320 billion in clean energy tax credit. Resilient investments, $105 billion. The incentives of clean energy technology manufacturing and supply chains, 110 billion. Clean energy procurement, $20 billion. Not million, billion. Housing is 150 billion. Investments in affordable housing affordability and reducing price pressures, and including in rural areas and also in public housing, rental, and down payment assistance. Education beyond high school and workforce. That's also investments in that, and it reduce costs and expand access to educational beyond high school by raising the maximum Pell Grant, including to support HBCUs, Hispanic serving institutions, HSIs, minority serving institutions, MSIs, tribal colleges, TCUs, and investing in workforce development, including community college workforce programs, sector-based training, and apprenticeships. Earned income tax credit for 17 million low-wage Americans. Extend the 1 year of the current expanded earned income credit for childless workers. Equity and other investments. Other targeted investments, including material health, violence incentives, community violence incentives, Native communities, disadvantaged farmers, nutrition, pandemic preparedness, supply chains. So in policy, child care, the investments in child care is 400 billion. Home care, 150 billion. Child tax and earned income credit, 200 billion. Clean energy and clean investments, 500 billion. ACA credits, including in uncovered states, 130 billion. Medicaid hearing, 35 billion. Housing, 150 billion. Higher education and workforce, 40 billion. Equity and other investments, 90 billion. Total, No, $1,750 billion. Immigration, $100 billion. In addition to that, the largest corporations and high-income earners to pay their fair share and reduce costs of prescription drugs. The plan is more than fully paid for by asking the wealthiest Americans and most profitable corporations to pay their fair share. It does not raise taxes on small business and anyone making less than $400,000 per year. It also generates income growth that will increase tax revenue and contribute to deficit reduction. Stop profitable corporations from paying zero in tax and stop rewarding corporations that buy back stock rather than invest in company. 15% of corporate minimum tax on larger corporations, 1% surge on corporate stock buybacks. So, just to sum this up, and just to be clear, my cousin is on here. Hello. The Build Back Better agenda is worth $1.75, I believe, trillion. That's actually pretty good. Even though I was all for the $3.5 trillion, there's some things in the bill that was cut out that I was mad about, the paid family leave, because even though I don't have kids, but I got people in my family that get sick, and sometimes you need that paid family leave, or people that's ready to settle down to have a family, not just only for the maternal but the paternal side as well, because dads want to stay home to bond with their children as well, to help their wives out. And I believe there was something else that I wanted, and more money invested in free community college. I want to see that happen. Even though I was mad about that, I was happy to see all the layout of the framework that the president said yesterday in his speech, and also just reading what is in here. It only takes 1 second or 2-second Google research on the White House website to see the framework. So I'm not understanding why the mainstream media decides they want to report on the infighting between the progressives and the moderates of the Democratic Party. Why are you guys not focused on the Republican Party that has opposed this piece of legislation time and time again? I don't understand why they're not reporting that 0 Republicans support this piece of legislation. Why is the media reporting that the Republicans are the reason why voting rights are at risk? No, everything is the Democrat Party can't deliver. They're fighting amongst each other. The progressives are fighting the moderates. Growing up, I never heard that shit in my life. Growing up, we didn't even know what a moderate and a progressive was. We knew who were activists and who served in Congress. We didn't know people define themselves on the ideological spectrum in the Democratic Party. We knew Republicans were conservative and moderates. Those were Republican talking points back then. But all this came about in 2016 when Bernie Sanders, who was not a part of the Democratic Party, eased and slithered his way into our primary and wanted to run against, the most powerful woman at the time in our country's history that served as our first lady, that was in the Senate, and our Secretary of State. But who am I? And giving this parody test. But who am I? Who is me, right? I'm just a girl on the internet just spouting all of this stuff. But I'm right. So the mainstream media has done all of this nonsense, right? Trying to create chaos to the point where people have distrust in the media. Long time ago, a lot of journalists were credible. Now you don't have that many. I could count some on hands. You don't have that many. So just to say this to the mainstream media. Before you start your news show, you may want to do some research. Seriously. Like, I am so sick and I am so tired of the mainstream media making it seem like the Democratic Party can't get their shit together. Like there's so much fighting when there's not really fighting. There's policy disagreements, yes, but fighting, no. There's no fighting. There's no name calling. You know who's doing the fighting and the name calling? The Republicans. And you know who's a boogeyman that they can't get rid of? The former guy from Queens, the bum that lived in the White House. Yeah, him. Republicans are eating their own because one of their congressmen who voted with Trump over 90% of the time is not running for re-election. Adam Daniel Kinzinger is not running for re-election. And do I think he's great? Absolutely not. He voted against the Voting Rights Act. He voted against the American Rescue Plan. He is no savior. He is no hero. The only thing he did right was tell the truth, and he waited late to tell the truth. But anyway, they're kicking him to the curb because he spoke up and told the truth. Him and Liz Cheney. So if anybody that's fighting in the political party is the Republican Party, not the Democrats. The Democrats is trying to deliver on policy. We may have policy disagreements, but we're trying to deliver for the American people so they can have money in their pocket and have a sustained living. So mainstream media, before you start your shows on every hour of the hour, please do your research on the internet and stop reporting on he say, she say, because y'all looking like gossip queens right now, and honestly, y'all losing all y'all credibility. So please, cut the shit. Well, let me read some of y'all comments. Kim, I'm going to get to your comment in a minute. I didn't want to disregard you. I'm just in my feelings right now because I'm so sick of the mainstream media. And I'm getting married on Sunday. Oh, congratulations, Enrique. And all my guests had the vaccine and pay. No deniers. Listen, if I was y'all, I would have temperature check things too. Check people temperature. Keep y'all distance away from people. And if you have older people, you mean you put them in a plastic bubble. But congratulations, Enrique. Congrats. I'm so proud of you. Listen, love is love. And that's another thing. LGBTQ rights is on the line too. But the difference between the LGBTQ folks and other racial groups, they go for your pockets. When they feel under attack, they go for their pockets. And Dave Chappelle's supposed to be having a sold-out comedy show here in the city. I stopped watching Dave Chappelle a while ago because he's just ashy and dry. But in his comedies is not even funny no more. But the fact that he came after trans people, that's totally fucked up. Because they're the most attacked group out of the LGBTQ. Maybe it's me, but that's how I see it. So, I mean, you know, people supporting Dave Chappelle, I got nothing to say. I have nothing to say because that's a whole nother rant that I don't want to go through. But congratulations, Enrique. Be safe. If you have to wear plastic all over you during your wedding, that's what you probably have to do to protect the people from not touching you, unless it's your husband. And I was calling him your husband before y'all got married. Okay? I counter all that progressive. Yes, Shanti, wherever I see wrongdoings, I always have towards my pocket. Yeah, I already addressed the progressive and moderate stuff. I'm on the roll here. And also these celebrities. So, I'll get to that later because I have a read for that particular celebrity. But the NYC elections, well, before I talk about the NYC elections, I have to address the what is it? And it was not on my list of things to address, but Karen brought it up, and I'm just going to be real brief with it. So, with this whole Virginia election, Youngkin, that's his name, Tim Youngkin, whatever his name is, wants to ban Beloved. He wants to ban critical race theory. Critical race theory is not taught in grade schools. Last time I checked, it's actually taught in law school. And now I'm not even in law school because I don't even know what critical really race theory is. I heard of the term, but don't really know what it is because I went to a liberal arts school for a business. So in my business class, we wasn't learning about no damn critical race theory. That is a law school thing. This is how dumb and low and cheap the Republican Party has become. So when the mainstream media once again talks about Democrats and say we're not united, that's bullcrap. And it's about, how Terry McAuliffe is going to get, the suburban vote. There's black people that live in Virginia. There's a great amount of black people that live in Virginia, and that they will vote heavily in Virginia. So they don't listen, you know how many times black people save this country and save democracy? And we still don't get the credit, and they still focus on the white suburban voter, the suburban mom, aka the white suburban mom. Child, please. Because half of those women vote Republican, and they vote in the interest of their husband and their quote unquote pocketbooks. And keep in mind, half of them don't even work. I swear most of them. Indeed. But let's get into this. My city is having a mayoral election. Primaries are going on. I did early voting. And it was good. It wasn't a big traffic of people. I think this weekend is going to be crazy, even though the rain is going to be crazy. But Tuesday is going to be ridiculous. And yes, even though people are mad that the nominee is Eric Adams, but Eric Adams actually is probably the best formidable candidate. It was either him or Maya for me, because they just seemed the only two out of the bunch that was ready. He was talking about Catherine Garcia. Catherine Garcia went for the Karens in Manhattan instead of visiting the hood. That's what messed her up. But she works for, the governor's office now, currently. So she has a job. But she did endorse Eric. I don't know if any of her supporters will vote for Eric. I think black people and Hispanic people will vote for Eric. So, because Curtis Swaller is a dumbass. I watched the debates. He was yelling to a point I had to turn down my damn TV, because he made my goddamn head hurt. And my head was hurting that day because my allergies was bothering me. But he just screamed even more. Just what the fuck is he screaming for? And Eric was sitting there composed and ready and serious since day one. That's when you know somebody is ready. And he honestly, I think he was the right person to challenge Curtis. Because Curtis would have yelled over the women and nobody wouldn't say anything. But some people didn't even say anything when he was yelling over Eric. But Eric was time enough for that ass. Okay? And honestly, Eric got a whole mess to clean from 3 white men. One Republican turned independent, and the other progressive Democrat. That's why voting in progressives to lead something, especially this one, sounds terrible. And we got a progressive that's a public advocate who's about to be elected for his first actual full term, is now running for governor. Make that shit make sense. That don't even make no sense at all. But this is where we are, folks. But the great thing is our city leadership is going to be black. Our mayor's a possible black guy. The PA, is going to be a black guy. Let's see. The DA in Manhattan, black. The city council in my district, a black woman, an openly LGBTQ woman, black. So you got black people, the rise of black people in positions, and the white people in New York, they are scared. And speaking of white people of New York being scared, so in our gubernatorial race that's happening next year, the AG has declared herself as, will announce her campaign, which I always said on this live, those who follow me, that I was going to support AG Letitia James for governor, because it was predicted when she was going to be a public advocate, and this is going back almost 10 years ago when she was running to be a public advocate, that she was going to be our future governor. They could see her either running for governor or senate. But I always said governor because the woman does not want to leave New York. For why? We need her here. But then you have people in my mentions, which I'm going to address them soon, talking about, oh, she needs to prosecute Trump. She needs to get Trump. She needs to do this. She needs to do that. The DA's office is handling that as well. And she got a team that's doing that. And the last time I checked, the only state that's handling the former guy, the bum, that's handling him is the state of New York. Because what is, let's see, Michigan and Pennsylvania, Wisconsin and Georgia, what the hell are they doing? He tried to overturn a whole entire election. He tried to throw people's fucking ballots away. He's on audio with the Secretary of State in Georgia to throw people's ballots away. And nobody's not coming after their AGs or their DAs. That y'all want to come after my AG? Are y'all bugging? Are y'all tripping? But it's time to reach out, folks. Honestly, I don't really know, Cam, but I hope it's the vice president or it's the president. Anyway, well, it's time to read those same white moderates and those white Democrats, especially the ones in New York. So, I screenshot everybody just to get them. Because what you're not going to do is try to insult me in my tweets. Or say anything about a black woman in any shape or form. So, let's just start with some folks. So we got a token black person, an ashy one. I am a woman of color and would never vote for Tish again. Most people of color witnessed how she went after Cuomo and most read her report. I suggest you read it. Where's the report? Y'all know where it is? I don't know where it is. She didn't even provide no source. Next. I predicted this happened back in March when the false rape claims came out. Re-elect Cuomo. She investigated Cuomo. Tish James is going to announce her run for governor only 2 months after, in capitals, after Cuomo resigns. 2 months. Let that sink in. Rich called it in August. I thought she would at least try to wait until December or January. She's making this political hit job obvious. Nothing. I think she should run for governor. This woman want Hillary Clinton to run for governor and not Letitia James. She'd rather see her stick it to Trump. Miss James needs to do what she says she would do before she runs, before it's not. She will not win. James has to keep her word. And the interesting out of all of them, she can charge Trump first. And then this guy, his name is Robert. After I'm saying primaries are healthy, no seat is safe. Hochul is proving herself while James has not demonstrated a lot of smashing success after then Cuomo investigation. I thought she had the stuff to place Donnie Boy in jail. And then he said either Hochul or James will face a stronger GOP Trump-backed candidate, you know, like the sitting Congresswoman, the one that took Matt Rose's seat and tried to take credit for the ACA, even though she voted against it and voted against the overturn our elections like Lee Zeldin did. And I believe that Hochul would be better in a scenario. James is still viable in the next few years. And then he said, this is my last word, so blockers can have it. I didn't block him. I'm exposing this motherfucker. Robert Bernstein. AG won because it seemed an excellent candidate at the time. That I do not support for any other woman and due to many of her decisions and failures as an AG, and instead ready, and as well as the steady performance of Governor Hochul. I've been ready for this all day. So to the white moderates like Sherry and Robert Bernstein, let me just say this to y'all. You guys are the most loud, wrong, dumbass people to have Twitter accounts and followers. Thank God you guys don't have over 5,000-10,000 followers. Cause why? Because spreading misinformation like that, you will lead people to start spreading the misinformation and either go and harass the folks. That's what you guys will do. But to you dry, unmoisturized as white centrists and moderates, Sherry Bernstein and all of these knuckleheads out here. Yeah, y'all. We don't need y'all votes. We don't need you to vote Democratic. If you don't like whoever is going to be the nominee, whether it is your favorite white candidate, like Andrew Cuomo, Kathy Hochul, or either Tish. If you don't like who's going to be the nominee, then I'd rather you vote for Lee Zeldin. But I'm going to say this to y'all. Sherry, Robert, and the rest of y'all, we don't need your votes. Black people don't need you to vote for a Democratic candidate. We don't need y'all support. We never needed y'all. And it proved time and time again, black people are the base of the Democratic Party, especially black women, and we don't need y'all. We don't. Because obviously, y'all thinking some people are doing a great job when that particular person needs to go to the black community a lot more often. Because she does not go to the black community like that. Yes, you have Brian Benjamin, and half of y'all, quiet as it kept, don't even like him as a lieutenant governor. Because if it's a white man challenging him, y'all will vote for that white man, then not vote for, what's his name? Brian Benjamin. Because y'all don't like him. Because y'all have a lot of hit jobs on him too. Because y'all sure enough don't praise his ass. Y'all praise Kathy, but y'all don't praise Brian. I'm going to need for y'all to keep it real. Praise both of them or don't praise none. So, white moderates of New York. Yeah, y'all bums. So if you don't like who the nominee will be, whether it be Tish, Jumaane, which I don't care for, or Kathy, we don't need your votes. Black people will take it from here, and we've been doing the damn work for a very long time. So until then, y'all can keep y'all votes to yourself. Y'all can even write in your favorite candidate, whether it's Cuomo or whether who is else, and not vote for the Democratic nominee because we don't fucking need you. I mean, like, we don't need y'all. We don't need y'all at all. And this is another thing for them. The AG is not responsible for indicting Donald Trump. I repeat, the AG is not responsible for indicting Donald Trump. We have a Southern District of New York, that's the U.S. Attorney's Office. I'm pretty sure there is a Biden appointee in there. And we have Cy Vance. Yeah, Cy Vance in there. And soon to be Alan Briggs in there. And Alan Briggs comes from A.G. James' office. When you come from A.G. James' office, you know you about that business. And she does not owe none of you white moderates and centrists in New York State, city. She don't owe y'all shit. She's been doing the damn work for a very, very, very long time. And I've been following her career since 2010, when she was sitting on the city council in Fort Greene in Clinton Hills. She even came by my job at MS 113, predominantly black and Hispanic middle school. So therefore, she don't owe y'all shit. She is a public servant. Longer than some folks that's in position right now. Your favorite white people. That's right. She's been in position for a very, very long time. Women know how to handle business. So once again, we don't need y'all. And she don't owe you shit. And now I'm just going to read it all. I'm just going to sum it all up because there needs to be a summary. Because I just had to break up stuff. So, white centrists and white moderates of New York State. Whether you live in the downstate or the upstate. This is for y'all. Primaries are healthy. It's part of the political process. We can skim out whoever will be great for the state and great to represent our party. People are mad of why the current governor is being primary. It's called no seat is safe. That is like with the congressional races, the senator races, like here in New York. Eliot Engel and Joe Crowley thought their seats were safe. No, their seats were not safe. Do I like who is in their seats? No. I really don't care for it. But guess what? It tells you that no seat is safe. And if their seats are not safe and they're just congressional representatives, then the governor's seat is not safe. So I don't understand all this uproar and all of this. Are y'all scared? Are y'all that like pressed that maybe the AG will win? Because I think that's where is a place of coming from. Because to be honest and be frank, the AG never loses none of her races. There's receipts and there's proof out there. I'm not sure about Kathy, but I'm sure that AG James, she never loses her races at all. Not that I know of. So all of this making up shit, saying she needs to charge Trump first, you need to stick it to Merrick Garland, the AG in Pennsylvania, and the AG in Michigan. And what all three of them got in common, they're all white people who have not charged Trump yet. And Trump did way worse shit in those states than he did in New York. So cry me a goddamn river with that shit. And if you don't like it, pass the hell on through. Scroll on by. Because we don't need your support then, and we don't need your goddamn support now. And yes, they tried to do this to Hillary and Kamala, and now they're going to try to do this to our AG. And I'm not going to let that happen. Not on my watch. Even if I got to go in person to phone bank for her ass, and I normally don't do that shit. And y'all know me, I don't volunteer for nobody's shit because I'm mean. I don't volunteer for nobody's shit, but I volunteer for hers if I got to. Because what you're not going to do is smear this black woman. That's what you're not going to do. And speaking of more stuff, just my final point. These Justice Dems, this guy that's the executive director of Justice Dems, he get on my nerves too. You giving credit to people that did not have no saying in this legislation, but discredit the black people that had, credit in this legislation. Let me tell you something. And you Justice Dems could get mad at me. I'm saying what I'm saying. I am so sick of you progressives trying to take credit for stuff, and then you guys want to go ahead and trash black elected officials, because that's what you guys do, saying that they're corporate elitists and everything, but they're the ones that sitting at the table, not y'all. And the reason why y'all not sitting at the table because y'all keep criticizing this administration, which they actually trying to put food on people's tables, your constituents' tables, because you damn sure ain't doing it because you ain't passing no mother effing bills. So I'm gonna need for you, Justice Dems, to pass bills, no, write bills, pass bills. But if you can't do that, shut the hell up and move out the way. I said what I said. But I am going to sum this up, folks, because I'm not going to be on too late. Voting down ballot is important. Primaries are important. They're part of the political process. I keep saying this over and over again. It's important to vote down ballot because now we're stuck in a situation where we have to rely on 2 senators that acts in the interest of their corporate donors than their constituents that need this legislation like yesterday. This is why voting for senators and electing more senators matters. And even in the House, electing more representatives matters. And even in your state and local elections, voting for state representatives or state senators and mayors and county execs, those things matters, and governors. Primaries for those positions are helpful because you get to weed out who is good and who is not good to represent your party and to represent the whole entire, your whole entire county or state, right? That's the whole point of having a primary. People crying about a primary means they don't really give a shit about other people's, tastes. And people that cry about primaries is mostly white folks. Because those are the ones that's screaming about why is there a primary going on? Because that's part of the political process. It's to weed out who can be better for our party. So I wish that all of these quote unquote white moderates, white centrists, and even white progressives that cut the crying out. Primaries are healthy because if it's your favorite candidate, primary somebody else, y'all wouldn't have shit to say. But as a black woman that actually is popular in her state, that's born and bred it, that embodies or what I embody and other black women and other women of color embody, y'all all scared and shit because y'all know that your population is shrinking. It's shrinking. And it's killing y'all. But guess what? It's a new dawn, it's a new day. And this country is changing. And by the next few years, this country will be majority black and brown. And your kids, yes, white folks, your kids is having kids with my race of people and other people of color. So cut the bullshit out. Primaries are important. And yes, people like me, we vote down ballot. But until then, you guys have a wonderful night.